In this video lesson, I'm going to teach you how to make this jacket here. It is ideal for beginners because it is quite simple, easy to do from top to bottom. He has here the V neckline is seamless. I'm not going to get too close so that you only see high points. Very simple, quick to make and goes little material to make, no seams. It is ideal for beginners. So the length you choose, the length you want to make, you will already have more fulfilled, shorter, wider, anyway. During the step-by-step class, I teach you to take your measurements and make according to your size, so you can make this model here. To drink until the Gigi size goes bad, right? The size of such you can make is the way I teach there in the video class. It is very simple to make, so I used more or less Warrior 50G of film. It's Sydney First Dongley, okay? The balls are 80 gram. I don't know how many balls per, but it is. I weighed here, the coat gave almost 450 gram to make the size P. This one I consider the size P crochet needle I used was the 5mm. So let's go to the step-by-step of this coat. To make this coat, I will use the yarn here. He's not in the soap opera because I'm using leftover wire. Yeah, I dismantled a piece that I didn't like the result, and I'm going. So it wasn't even used, it wasn't washed at all. So I took it apart, and I'm going to reuse it. So I no longer have the label, but I have the notes here about the yarn. So this yarn here is the first double swan yarn. It's 80 gram balls, 100% acrylic. The text is 468. The color is 930 and it is indicated on the label a 4.5 needle, a 4.5 crochet needle. To weave with this thread here, I will use a 5mm needle. I like to weave always with a needle a little thicker than the suggested, the label, because I have a tension of the stitch very tight if it doesn't get hard work, you know. So I always have to use a larger needle to get more malleable, more enjoyable work. I will also use measuring tape to take the measurements point markers. It's me, I don't normally use it for weaving, but I'm going to show you the magnification angles. It is for which beginner it is ideal to put the marker. If you don't have a marker, tie a string of another color. Use that little wire that comes on the bread. You can go through there. It's a little pin, not that bracket, right? Which is that closed pin also works super well, yeah? So I believe that's it to weave this coat. If you want, you can use yarn, you can use fine yarn, you can use that more or less fine wool, thicker wool, baby wool. You can do it for any material. It will look good because it's just high points. Super simple, so you can adapt and do it. If you want warmer, a thicker wool, double yarn is. If you want cooler, you can use thread. So it remains to be the material criterion that you are going to use, regardless of the form that you use, the material that you are going to use. I will teach you exactly how to get started. There will be no mistakes, and you will be able to adapt to any material. So now I'm going to teach you how that you're going to take your measurements to do according to your body. So now I'm going to teach you how to take the measurements to get me married. So the main measure you need to take. What are you going to use to make the chain cord to start any size? You're going to need to know the measurement of the collar hollow, which is this measurement here, O. So usually I put 2 fingers in. Then I go in here, O, and here, O. And I measure, it's the 2 fingers, then the 2 fingers, before it gets here on the neck. So this measurement here that you are going to take, which is the hollow of the collar. Mine is one size, P is 15 centimeters. It's pretty good. If you are going to make a size PP 12 in the midst, P 15 centimeters, then you will increase it by 2 centimeters. For the other end sizes, you can put 17 centimeter OG, 18 centimeter OGG, 20 centimeters. But this is a measurement suggestion that for me always works with these measurements here, okay? PP12P, 15M17G, 20GG, 22. Okay, so these are the measurements here. Oh, you have to take them. So you choose if you want wider, shorter. It's at your discretion normally. I leave the 2 little fingers here still very tight. Another measure, and also very important for you to make your coat, is to take the circumference, the measurement of the circumference, or the measurement. Here's the one from Cava da Manga. Normally I put the ribbon right over the shoulder and go here, around the arm, and leave it more or less the 2 fingers. Below the arm, here are the 2 fingers. Under the arm of the armpit, to have a little break, so that when you don't do it, if you take the measurement very precisely, when you make your blouse, it will rub under the arm, it will be tight, it will be uncomfortable. So the ideal is always to leave a slack. I leave 2 fingers below, and my measurement is always super right here for size P. What I'm going to do is 20 centimeter, so normally 19 to 20, depending on the material you're going to use, 19 to 20 centimeters. This cavity for size P, for size M, is 21 to 22 centimeter, OG from 22 to 23, EOG is OGG, right? OP from 20, and from 19 to 20 M from 21 to 22. to 23, that's it. But the ideal is for you to take your measurements. Each body is a body. Sometimes you can change the measurement there. So you put the ribbon very tightly on top of the shoulder and rotate here, pass under the arm, and here the 2 little fingers below the arm. Another measure is also the length you will make this coat. You will place the measuring tape right over your shoulder and go down at the top on the bust, and it will go down to where you want it to be. This length there on the thigh, on the butt, it's above the hip anyway. It's up to you what size it is. The ideal is always to leave it at the top and go down, because if you leave it here at the bottom, when you go for the bust, it will go up here. Oh, and it will be a little bit shorter than yours, as you intended. So the ideal is always to catch. Because of the higher part there, when you wear it, it will give you the size you wanted. Another measure is the length of the arm. The arm here doesn't have it, so I'll show it here in mine. You never measure the arm. It's always stretched and bent. It's the same thing I said here, because when you dress, you come up here. Oh, when I fold it, it will pull some of the fabric here. And the sleeve will be short, so ideally you put the measuring tape right here on top of your shoulder and pass it here with your arm bent. Come here as far as you want me to stay. This sleeve is another measurement. It is the circumference of the wrist, so you know the width you are going to make. It's the bar from the mango, okay? So these are the measures you need. Dig in your sleeve. Collar house, sleeve house, length, sleeve length, and audience circumference, right? So let's go to the step by step. Now I'm going to teach you how to assemble the coat through that main measurement, which is the collar measurement, which in my case is the 15 centimeter. So what are you going to do? I took my thread, made a string of chains about 15 centimeters, And I put high dots on this little running cord. I made a career of high points. I just went there with the measuring tape and measured to see if I could get the 15 centimeters. Then I counted how many stitches it gave, because sometimes you just make the string of chains and put it on the measuring tape. When you put the high points, depending on the material, it will increase that career, or sometimes it will get smaller, so it won't stay the right size. So the ideal is to make this career of high points and measure the high point career first there, so you get an idea. So in my case, I did this and I found 22 high points with this thread here that will give me my 6 inches. So I know that mine is the main measurement. It is 15 centimeters, 22 chains to give me the 15 centimeters with this thread that I am using. So in your case, it may be that it gives more or less depending on the thread. If it is thicker, it will give less. If it is thinner, it will give much more. Okay, so in my case with this thread here, it gave 22 chains. Now I'm going to teach you from this amount of chains how you are going to assemble your coat. So this beginning here is the same for all sizes, from baby to plus size, OGG plus size. Anyway, you will take the collar measurement, find out the amount of chains. That's it. After you have the amount of chains, the size of the collar measurement, you will assemble as follows. I will draw here so that you can understand. So it will be more or less the model. So I found out that 22 little chains give me about 6 inches to my back. Okay, this measure is for the back there. I have here the 2 shoulders and here is the front of my coat. How it is open here is the front of it, the 2 parts of the front, the shoulders and the back. So what am I going to do with that number of chains? I'm going to divide by 2 to put it here on each shoulder. So 22 divided by 2 is going to be 11. So I'm going to put 11 chains on the left shoulder and 11 chains on the right shoulder. For example, Theo had 23 chains. What will you do? Either round up or down. Use 20 or 24, like I did. Increasing or decreasing by 1 chain won't change much. When it's odd, you round up or down to divide evenly. Or 24 is no problem. Increasing 1 or decreasing 1 won't make much difference in the size of your coat. So you're the round one. When it's odd, you're round 1 more or 1 less, so you can divide here. For example, if you gave 20, 21, you put 20, 20, or 20 is, or 22. For example, if you opt for 20, you put 10 here and 10 here. For example, yours gave 30 here. Oh, put 15 here and 15 here, right? That's how you're going to split. So in my case it was 22. I put 11 on each side, and here, oh, it will always give 22 2.2 chains. Regardless of the size you're going to make here, it's always 2, right? What is going to change here is this part here, according to your material, according to your size. These numbers of chains will change, but here it's not always 2. I always start with 2 to be able to do OV here. Oh, it is. So it stayed that way, and then what are you going to do? You're going to add 22 plus 11 plus 11 plus 2 plus 2. Adding all of this over here is going to give me 48.2. 11 plus 11 day 22, 22 plus 22, 44, 44 plus 2 plus 24, 44 plus 4, 48. Then I found out that I have to start my coat with a 48 chain cord. So it's pretty simple for you to do. You set up your chart this way to make it easier for you to get easier. So I'm going to start my coat with 48 chains, so yours might be a lot more. If you use a thinner film, or if you are going to make a very large coat, it will give you a lot more. If you are going to make a coat with a thicker wool, it may give you less. No problem, it's according to your measurement, okay? So now I'm going to make my string of chains. I already have it made here, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to assemble it from this graph here. I'm here with my chain cord, made 48 chains, and I'm going to start. So you will start as follows. After you have your amount of chains there, no matter how many, you will put 2 more, 1 and 2. Then you go there on the 4th chain, you add 2 more to gain height. Here, 12, 34 will jump on the 4th chain. You will make a high point, and this string of chains will be equivalent to a high point for me. So here will be mine, here in front. The 2 front chains. What am I going to do now? I'm going to make a chain, which is what will be my angle of increase, and I'm going to make a chain in the next chain. Here normal, I'm going to weave the high stitch, and what? How many high stitches will I knit? 11. I will weave 11 high stitches, which equals me. Left shoulder. So I'm going down, I already have a 2, 3, 4. I'm going to drop the 11 so the video doesn't get too long. I have 45 already returned with the 11 stitches woven. I knitted the 11 high stitches after I made the chain, 12, 34, 5, 67, 89, 10 or 11. After I hear, in the chain space, if you want, you can put a stitch marker here. Just to make it easier for you to know that here is an angle of increase. So I did the 11 high stitches that equals me here, the left shoulder. I'm going to make a little chain here. It's equivalent to me. At the angle of magnification, here too. This little chain here is the magnification angle. So I made the chain, let me get more thread here, and now I'm going to do the back part. I'm going to add, now I'm going to put 22 high stitches here on my cord after the chain, and the next one here. 1 high stitch, 2. Whoa, I did tight. 2, 3, 4. I'll go down to 22 and be right back. I have 4 points already, and here I can already put a marker, which here is my other angle. I'll drop the 22 points and be right back. I did the 22 high stitches, and look, if I put these 22 here, it will give me the 15 centimeter. Look, it worked out pretty well. So I did 22, which is from the back. I'm going to put now the angle of magnification here, which is a little chain. And I'm going to do the right shoulder part, which is 11 stitches high. So in the next chain, I'm already going for 11 high points here. A 2, I'm going to be able to, here a 12, 3 chain. I'm going to be my 11 high points. And I'll be right back. I'll put a marker here too. Textile, it's 11 high stitches. Look from the right shoulder. Now I'm going to make another magnification angle here. So I'm going to make a chain, and I'm left with the 2 chains here, which is on the other side of the front. I'm going to do the 2, the high here, which is equivalent to the front part. And here it is ready. I'm going to get another marker just to put here another magnification angle. I will show you how this coat will look. So, like the drawing I made, I mounted here and here, take off this little hill. So look, it's difficult to show here like I did there in the drawing. From now on, I'm going to these angles of increase here. That's what's going to happen, right? The increase is that angle of increase anyway. Then I'm going to increase each row. I'm going to increase the starting point 1 at the end here. 1 at the beginning and at the end here, 1. At the beginning, at the end, at the shoulder part, at the back part of the other shoulder. And here then you will increase this palabay pala. It's the chest part, the clothes part, okay? The part of the chest that goes under the arm. So now following up here, what am I going to do? I finished my first career here. I'm going to make 3 chains, or 2, which equals is the high point. It depends on your thread, your taste. If you want to do 3 or 2, I'll do 2 to see how it goes. Now I'm going to do a raise. So it's a raise at the beginning and at the end. So I'm going to do 1 more high on the first. Normally we don't put it on, right? Because the chains are already equivalent to the high point here. But how am I going to get a raise? Me in the first. I already put a point. I put a point, I'm going to make a high point on top of this high point, and inside this little chain that I made, which is called magnification angle, I'm going to take my marker here, and I'm going to make a V point inside here, which is a high point, a chain, and another high point in the same space. And here in this chain space, I'm going to put it again on my marker. Normally I don't put it because I can visualize it well. If you want, you can put 2 chains here, the space will be more open. I scratched this angle very discreetly here, very closed. So I put just 1 and put the marker so I don't get lost. So here notice that I had forward, I already have 4. Increased by 1 at the beginning and 1 at the end. Now I'm going to go here to the shoulder part. I've already increased 1, oh that's this one here. It already belongs to the shoulder part, and I'm going to put a high point for each little point that I have here. So I've already increased 1 there by doing that V, then OV. It serves to increase a point on one side and a point on the other. Then the marker keeps scraping on the table. There's that annoying little noise. Oh, so I'm going to put a high point on each point until I get there on the marker. Look, I'm here. I will try to do everything here very quickly so that you can visualize it properly. So I'm doing the high points here. These are all the points here that belong to the shoulder. Look, now I'm going. TC, I arrived in the chain space. I'm going to take off the marker, and in the chain space I'm going to make a V point. A high point, that is the increase on this side, a chain, and another high point, that is the increase on this side. Here I resume here on the marker, and now. I increased here. This side also had 11. Now I'm going to have 13, 12, 34, 56, 78, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 3. Now here I continue weaving normally, stitch on stitch. So it's super simple, and you will weave like this until your paula reaches under the arm. Having the measurement of yours now is another measurement. You will use the measurement of the cuff, which in my case is 20 centimeters. Those were the measures I passed. It's a north for you, right? It is OP normally is 20 centimeters from 19 to 20. It's 21 to 22, 23 to 24. Usually these measures work, but it's good. The ideal is you take your measurement very accurately and use, oh, I'll weave the rest and I'll be right back. Look, I knitted all the stitches here that belongs to the back part. I arrived at the angle of increase. I arrived here at the chain, so I'm going to take off the marker. And here I'm going to do my V point, which is the next increase. A high point, a chain, and a high point resume here, so as not to forget, and I go here to the other shoulder. One high point for each point. Oops, I want to make it quick. I'm going to weave until I get here on the marker, stitch on stitch, and I'll return. I woven everything until I get here is in the other chain. I shoot the marker here in the space of the chain. I'm going to make my V stitch. High point, a chain, a high point. I already resume here my V for my C, my marker on the V so I don't forget. And now here I have the front part, the highs, so I put a high point over high point here. I'm going to put it on the chain in the second chain that I made to start, and as I'm doing with increase, I'm going to make another high point. So I did point after point, and I'm going to do another high point. At the same point here, so oh, I had 2 and now I have 4. For the next career, I'm going to make 3 chains or 2, which are equivalent to a high point. And I'm going, as it's increasing at the same point here in the same, I'm going to make 1 more high point. So I'm increasing 1 more, and I'm going to do high point on high point. I got here at the angle, right? From the increase, I'm going to take my marker here, and in the space of chains, I'm going to make my point B a high point, a chain, a high point. I'm going to put my marker here again, and here it's very easy. I'm going to show you here. So I started with 2, went to 4, now I have 6, 1, 23, 45, and 6. So it's increasing here. OV, this is the V neckline growing, and here goes stitch on stitch. You see, no secret. It's super simple. Even a beginner can make a coat like this. Oops, wanting to do it quickly means it doesn't work. Here then do the high point on high point until you get there at the other B. This marker keeps hitting the table, it keeps making noise. So I'm almost weaving the entire arm and shoulder part here, and I'm going to pause the video. I'm getting here on the marker again. I'm going to make my last point, and I hit the marker. I'll get him out of here. And here in the chain space, V point, high point, chain high point, I put again, and here I continue weaving stitch on stitch. See how there is no secret? You will do this until you reach the size you need for your patch. I'm going to knit the whole back here because it has more stitches and it's going to take a little while. I'm going to weave here and I'll be right back. I woven the whole back here, stitch by stitch. I arrived at the next magnification angle, take the marker here and here in the chain space. I make my point B, which is a high point, a chain and a high point in the same space. Again the marker, I continue weaving stitch on stitch remaining of the career until I get there on the next marker. I arrived at the next magnification angle, so I'm going to take it here, and inside the space I make another V. I'm high, a little chain. How high in the same space? I call for a marker that I'll come back to. So I put here point on point. I can't forget the chain here, which is a point. Make the high point and another high point in the same space, which is the increase. 12, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 4, 6, 5 will increase from 2 to 2. For the next career, I make 2 or 3 chains depending on your material. I turn to work and go back to weaving, then I'll come back. Starting with the increase, I have already made the chains, which is equivalent to a high point on the same point. I make 1 more high stitch and I'm weaving stitch on stitch. Here, oh, the last one there, I arrived at the angle of increase in the space of chains. I'm going to do my V point there, high point, chain high point. I'll take back my marker here so I don't get lost. I continue to weave point after point. So here it is. I already realized that I started 2. Here 4, that 6 here has to have 8, 12, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It went very well, so it will increase that way. I'm not going to record any more video because I think it's going to get too repetitive. If you have any doubts, you go back a little bit. Look how I did it. So it's staying like this here, so it starts. Well, look at the front. The shoulder is half rounded like this, half felt. Now look, then we're going to do this here. Oh, here, up to the angles. We'll do it like this and see. Put your coat on. I have one here, a little bit more fabric, just so you get an idea of what it looks like. More fabric, a little bit ahead. Look, then you weave until it's big enough. Oh, here we put the angle together with the angle. Put it very neatly. An angle with another angle here, and an angle with another angle. Here you go weaving, even like me. But I'm going to come back and I'm going to explain clearly to you that here, oh, you're going to increase, 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 and you're going to weave until when you meet, you put the angle with the angle very precisely, and when this angle meets here, oh, it's missing little. He will find himself in a few more careers because he will come here. Oh, if he finds himself here, when he finds himself here, I have to stop making the increase just at that end. Then he will weave it straight because otherwise the coat will overlap. It won't look cool, okay? So you'll stop, you'll see, oh, you'll do it and you'll put it like this. It's cute to see when you find yourself seeing the increase in the front, okay? If you find yourself, stop doing the increase here and continue weaving straight, but I'll explain this to you in the video, okay? I'll weave mine. Until we meet, and I'll come back to show you how we're going to weave from here on out, okay? Don't worry, weave it there, and I'll be back to show you how to do it here after you find this part. So I came back here that I was weaving my careers, look, doing the increases, and they met here. I joined the angles of increase, and they've met, so I have to stop raising here. Look how my eyes turned out. Look at what the career is like. To assemble, just take the two. It's the two magnification angles here, and join the two magnification angles here. So you do yours until you find yourself here. You put angle with angle with, and we hear angle to angle. Same thing here, angle to angle. And it has already met me. So I'm going to stop making an increase just here at the tip, here and here. It will continue to increase only here. Just these little tips here. That instead of me doing highs in the same place, I'm going to do just one. I'm going to go straight down. So I'm going to show you here how I'm going to do it. So here I came at the end of my career doing the rise highs. I'm going to undo this point and do it again because I thought it got ugly. So here's the last raise I made. I'm going to make the chains, in my case 2. If you want, you can make 3 that equals a high point. Now, if I had gone down like before, I would make one more point here. Now, as you have already found yourself, I'm not going to increase here. I'm going to the next point, and making a high point here will always be point after point. Now I'm going to go straight down the side of the front. The increase has arrived, so I'm going down here normally, point by point. I'll get here to the marker and be right back. I knitted all the high stitches until I got here on the marker. And here I make the increase normally. It's a high point. High point chain. I'll put my marker here and here. If weaving the rest of the career, then I will weave the whole career and return only there at the end. The rest is the same as I have been weaving until now. So I'm going to weave my whole career here. When I get there at the end, I'll return. So I have been knitting my whole career and I arrived here at the end, and I have to make the last stitch here in the chains. So I'm going to make the high point here on the second chain, and I'm not going to make another one. As I always did the increase only high point on high point, I turn here. I make the 2 chains that for me here is worth a high point. I turn the work over here and go back weaving high stitch over high stitch. So here this point, here these chains is equivalent to this point, and I go to the next one and do stitch over stitch. And so I weave until I reach the size I need, so that it reaches under my arm, that it fits my arm. I'll show you here, yeah. I'll write here again. So I put angle with angle, I arrange here in K, angle with angle. Look how it stayed here. It's already straightened. It's going straight down. It's getting really cute. So you will weave until you join it here. Oh, and see that you will pass your arm here. Oh, here it still doesn't fit. So this part here has to come together under your armpit, about 2 fingers under your armpit, so it's really comfortable. So you're going to put it on and you're going to put these 2 together. 2 parts here under your arm. If it passed, it was very loose, then you can stop my case. I'm going to weave almost 20 centimeter here, which is my mango pit measurement, 20 centimeter, more or less 20 centimeter, then it will work out very well. So I'm going to give you the measurements, the number of careers I did until the increase here in DA and cavalier stopped. From the collar I made 12, 34, 5, 6, 7, 89, 10 or 11 rows. Oh, 12, 34, 5, 6, 7, 89, 10 or 11 rows with increase, and then knit the rest straight here. Oh, in this part here. So I will weave now until I reach the measure I need. Then I go back and go through the number of careers and the next steps. I came back here that I arrived with the size needed to stay under my armpit, and with the 2 fingers here away. So I have woven for 12, 3, 45, 67, 89, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 161, 7, 18, 19 rows. It's already the size I needed. It's the patch. Now I'm going to leave the sleeves on hold, and I'm going to knit just the body of the jacket, which is from here. Very simple. So I'm going to teach you how I'm going to do now to leave the sleeves on hold. So here to continue. Oh, I arrived at the end of my career. I make here the chains that are equivalent to me. There's a high point and I'm going to turn my job over. I will knit normally stitch over stitch until I get there at the angle of increase there on my marker. So I'm going to weave here this whole career like just high points, right? Point after point until you get here on the marker. When I get here on the marker, I will return to teach. Leaving the sleeve on hold. So I weaved all the high points until I got here on the marker. What am I going to do now? I'm going to take out this marker. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make a loop of the needle. I'm going to insert the needle into the space here, and I'm going to take it. I'll get the next marker. Oh, I'll get there on the other marker, there on the other angle. What am I going to do? I'm going to bring it here. Oh, here. I'm going to insert the needle and I'm going to pull here. I'm going to participate. I'm going to do it back. I'm going to crumple it. I'm going to insert one at an angle of increase in the other. And I pull the thread here and make the high point, and I join it here. Oh, through a high point I joined it and left the mango here. Wait, okay, so I'm going to explain it again, and I'm going. For example, sew has varies from body to body. Maybe here you gave your space, your mango pit. Only the body of the jacket will be a little tight. So what can you do to make it wider before you do it here? You make some chains, okay? So you make here high point inside. That's if you stay. You think you need to widen the body of the coat, okay? So you make as many chains as you think is necessary. For example, I'm going to make about 4 here. Oh, 1234. Then the career is like this. Oh, I'm going to bring the next angle here to me, and I'm going to make a high point in there. Oh, did the 4 chains, I make the loop to give a high point. I insert the needle into the angle here and make my high point. And here I continue to weave the high point over the high point. So look, I joined and made the body of the coat wider, because then, oh yeah, I'm going to assemble it here. Oh, then your coat will be wider, so this will vary from body to color. Oh, here it will be this much wider here. Then later, when you go to do the next career, high point after high point. When you get to the chains, you will do a high point for each chain here. Keep coming down here normally. Okay, but in my case, it doesn't need it. I want the same width as here, so I'm not going to make this increase. That is, if you want that raise, okay? You make as many currents as you think is necessary. You can put 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. It depends on how much you need to widen after you leave the space here that fits your arm well. Stay loose, keep scraping under your arm, then you. So, do you think the body of the jacket will be tight? Do you do this little raise, but like mine, I don't want this increase, I want it tighter, so I'm not going to make the chains, I'm going to join them directly. So, to join them directly, I just join them with a high point there, and I'm going to do it again, right? The union without the increase, I'm the one who's upset. I'm in the corner here. And I'm going there looking for another angle. I'm going to organize it here, and now everything is here. I'm in this position here, now it's going to work and come in here. I'm going. I take the angle, just take out the thread. At the time I went to fix it for you to see, I fucked everything here. I take the other angle, insert the needle in here. I take the wire. I pull the wire. I'm going to take that marker off. Now it won't be necessary. And here I'm going to continue weaving the high point over the high point until I get there at the other magnification angle, there at the other marker. Then I will weave my high stitches here until I reach the other marker and return to close also to join. Here is the 2 tertiary sides until you get to the next magnification angle. Here I'm going to take off the marker and I'm going to join. So I'm going to join. It's like I got a raise. It is so that it is very clear to you that you are going to make the increase. Then make the high point inside the VAE. How many chains do you think you need for your increase? For example, I'll do 4, then I'll get the other angle. I bend like this, here's the career, so I bend here, look for another angle, and make my high point there, inside the angle. And then I keep weaving. It's high point after high point until the end of the career. So that's what I did with the increase. As in my case, I'm not going to do the increase. I'm going to remove the chains and the high point from inside the V. So I finished here. I give the loop, I go inside the V, I drop the thread, I get the other V, I bring it here, I put the needle inside this V, I take the thread, now I loop, I bring it here, and I make the high point, then join the 2 through a point A. I will take here, that will not be necessary. So the 2 sleeves are joined. Yeah, they're gonna be on hold. Now I will weave only the body of the coat until I reach the necessary size that I want, which maybe if you want to leave more, it is very long, shorter, then it is at your discretion. The length, if you want to make a bar, is. So go weave now, guys. The length I'm going to weave here until I reach the end of my career, and I'll be right back. I got to the end of my career, and now I'm going to show you how it turned out. Look how you've stayed here. The sleeve was already on hold, and now it's time for you to wear it, see if it was well right, and from now on you will weave careers here, only here. Oh, you will come. We'll turn the work, we'll make the 2 chains, turn the work, and test point on point. So far you've arrived here. Turn the work around and weave back from here, from here until you reach the size you need. Go back and forth, no increase, no decrease. Point after point. Now just careers back and forth until you think it's good. Then the length. So now look, see if it is right, if you need to increase here, or leave it like mine only with a high point. Or if you want to do more, drop your coat here. Then when you get to the chains here, you make a high point for each chain you left. It's gonna be perfect, it's gonna be pretty, huh? So I will continue weaving high stitch upon high stitch, back and forth. Now just the body of the coat until I reach the size I need. When I reach the required size, I return to teach you how to make the sleeves. I came back here that I have already reached the size I need is to make the coat. So I went down 19 careers until I got to the size I needed, and I didn't. I left the 4 centimeter more or less, unless I'm going to make a bar, okay? So it's not the full length yet, I left. It's a little shorter than I wanted to make a bar. So look at how it turned out. 19 rows from here, oh, from the union, it's from the angles, oh, from here to here. 19 rows that gave a total of, I'm going to measure here, how many centimeters. So this measurement here is 25 centimeters and up there here. So far 52 centimeters is the length. Now I'm going to start the bar. So here I didn't cut the wire. I left it on hold the time I reached the size I needed, and I'm going to make 2 little chains that equals 1 high point, and I'm going to turn my work over. And I'm going to start doing the slash stitch. I chose to do the traditional crochet bar stitch, which it is simpler. It's a bar that looks beautiful and very simple, because marrying his proposal is for beginners. So what am I going to do? I'm going to do a raised high point, caught from the front and caught from the back. So here the 2 little chains are equal to this point here. In the next one, which is the second one, I'm going to do it in relief, caught from the front. So I'm going to take here, oh, insert the needle from between the stitches, wrap this stitch, oh, bringing the needle that I brought this stitch forward, and I'm going to do the high point, oh, pull the string and do the high point. This is the raised high point taken from the front. The next one I'm going to do raised high point. I take it from the back, I pass the loop, I go in with the needle here and come out the other side, oh, wrapping the stitch back there, and now I pull the thread and do the high stitch and relief. I'll take the next one from the front, then insert the cull here and I'll bring it here. I pull the wire, I pass point A. The next one I'm going to do from behind, oh, alla sardina, enter with the needle here, Oh, from back to front, I bring it here in front. Oh, and come out here on the side, taking the stitch back. Oh, I took the stitch back. Pull the thread and do the high stitch, okay? I'm going to do it again because I passed right there. So I give it a break. I involve this point. And I do the high point. The next one I'll do caught by the front. And so I go one back, one forward until I get there at the end of my career. So there is no secret. This bar is very simple. I will weave until I reach the end of my career and I will return, making a raised high point, caught from the front, a raised high point, caught from the back. So I came all the way through my career, getting here at the end. So I did this next, the sequence, point O in relief. There are only 2 left here for me to finish. So the next one I'll do in relief, caught from behind. And the last one here that I'm going to do is just a high point there in the second chain that I made to start my career. So there will be a little edge point for the next career. I will make my 2 chains, which for me is equivalent is a high point. I will turn over my work and I will continue weaving the same way, only like this, where there is a high point in relief. Oh, from the front, I'm going to do it in relief, caught from the front, now it's here in relief, caught from behind, I'm going to do the relief, caught from behind, I'm going to follow the sequence I did in the other career, where it's in front, I do it in front, where it's behind, I do it caught from behind. So there's no secret. Are you going to do it this way? Until you think you've reached the size you needed there for your coat. I left about 5 centimeters less than I wanted for the total length of the coat. So I'm going to weave about 2 inches. I just like to keep trying. I'll do it, I'll wear it, I'll see if it looks cool, then I'll stop. So I'm going to weave mine here. I don't know how many careers like this, where it's reread from behind. I do it from behind. Look from the front, I do it from the front. And I'm going to do it like this, career by career, until I reach the size. So when I reach the size needed here for my coat, I'll come back, I'll pass you the thing. Quantity of careers is and quantity in centimeters. So I came back here that I finished the bar is, and I did 5 rows of bar, 5 rows, and I reached the size I needed. So the coat was like this. I already took advantage and made a sleeve because I like to go wearing it, seeing how I make the decreases. And look how the sleeve turned out. So whatever you do on this sleeve, you write it down or pay close attention to do exactly the same on the other. So that's why I like to do it and wear it. So when I go to teach here, I already know exactly where to make the decreases. How many decreases? How these decreases will be made. That's why I already made an advance. Then when I teach you how to do this one here, you do everything the same way there. The coat is almost finished. We need to make the sleeve and the finish here of the bar. I'm going to make the other sleeve now and take the measurements. Here I did it with 5 bars and here only 4. I will now approach and teach how to make the sleeve now with the jacket with the right out. We're always working right out. We never turn the other way around. How do you know your jacket is right side out? Because there are back and forth careers. So it's harder for you to look here and know if you're on the right side or if you're on the wrong side. So here you can look by the position of the points. Look at this one. It's the inside out. Look how the stitch looks inside out. And here on this side, the point is on the right. Look how beautiful it looks. So this here is the right side, and this here is the inverse side. And also, if you still can't identify by the position of the stitches, you can rely on the tip of the string of chains. If it is on the side of your left hand, this tip, your work is on the right side, up. If he has it on this side here, on the right side, his inside out is his work is inside out, okay? So if this little point is on the right side, your work is upside down. So, given the explanations, let's start the manga. So, I'm here with the coat, with the right out. I'm going to get here under the arm right here. Where I tied, I made that high point, joining the two angles here, that I'm going to tie my thread here that I'm going to start. I'm going to insert it here. I'm going to zoom in to make it easier to visualize. So in this little space here in the union, I'm going to tie my thread. So here you start in the way you have been accustomed to. I like to tie up, do it here, pull the wire, and make my 3 little chains, which are equivalent to a high point. Here I am going to make 3 chains. So before starting here, you will pay attention to the career you stopped. Oh, here I stopped making the body of the jacket. I stopped on the back row. So the last row here, when I woven the patch to the sleeve, I woven it inside out. So here I have to weave by, right? We have to pay attention to this so that all the work on the coat, the positions of the points are exactly the same. Otherwise here it will reverse and get in the way. The position of the points will not be the same. So note, if you stopped with the career of this format, here you start with the right. If you stopped your career like that, here you will start the other way around, okay? So start on the right is you tie the wire here. And I came here. If you have it unlike mine here, different from mine, if it's different from mine, you'll start like this. You'll turn it upside down and you'll go down from here to here, which is weaving inside out, okay? These are small details, but your coat will look perfect. So, since mine is on the right side, I'm going to come here and I'm going to start with a decrease because I want my sleeve very tight on my arm, if you want. So that's the time you put on, see how much you want to decrease, and if you want to proceed like this. Then, at your discretion, if you want to continue with it, leave it like this. Just put point on point. Here, a high point for each point, and everything is fine. But I want to make the decrease, so I'm going to start with a decrease. So here I made the 3 chains that will be equivalent to a high point, and I'm going here. At the next point I have, in my career here, I'm going to make a high point, and I'm not going to finish. I'll leave him here on the needle. I'll go to the next stitch. I make a high point, and I don't finish. I'm going to take off now these 3 loops at once, here. I've already done a decrease, and I'm going to weave the rest of my career. High point over high point, until I'm going down here until I get missing. Here at the end, I'm also going to make the decrease on this side. So everything I do. Before the chain cord, right? After the chain cord, I'll do it before 2. I will do the reduction before, at the beginning and end of my career. So I'm going to weave the whole career, putting the high points here. I'm going to go through everything until I get here. When I get here, I'll be back. I went through my whole career and I'm missing here. So I'm going to do the decrease too. So when I'm missing, I'm going to do the high stitch and I don't finish. I go to the next one I do the high stitch and I don't finish. I keep the 3 loops here on the needle. I take them all at once. Then I made another decrease. They are high close together. That became 1. Now I'm going to close here on the 3rd chain that I made to start making my 3 chains. And they saw my work. Now I'm going to work there on the inside. The jacket is big. It's hard for me to show it here. Here I'm going to do point by point. I'm not going to decrease. The first point here, I do the high point, the next high point. So here it's point over point. You just can't forget to turn your career one side to the right, to the inside out, and it goes. If you think it's too wide, you can decrease it now again, or you can weave it like I'm doing, or I'm making a sleeve that has that very discreet, very soft decrease, which decreases it looks very beautiful. So I'll weave here and be right back. I went through the whole career. I did point after point, and I go there on the 3rd chain and I close with a very low point. I make the 3 little chains that will equal me a high point, and I will turn my work around. Now I'm going to the right side. Oops, the piece here is big. It's difficult to show it properly. So I'm here to the right side. In this one, I will also make point by point. There is no decrease. High point on high point. I'm going to weave my whole career stitch on stitch. When I get here at the end, I'll return. I knit all the way, stitch on stitch, close there in the 3rd chain tight step. I make these 3 little chains there on the body of the coat. I went down with 2 chains here. I thought it was better with 3. Yes, I changed my job here. And now in this career here, I will make a reduction. So I made one with normal 2 decrease. I'm going to do in this sequence 2 decrease 2 normal here, if you find it, which is little. You can do more decrease, yes. You can do, oh, I did the high without finishing. I take everything off at once, yes. So you can do decrease like I did here, a normal one, a decrease, a normal one, a decrease can also. It's up to you, it's a matter of taste. There are people who like a wide sleeve. It can be stitch on stitch until the end. It will look beautiful too. Yeah. If you want a sleeve that's not too wide, it's decrease every 23 rows. No problem, it's a matter of personal taste, right? So here it will be point by point. Mine turned out good that way. So every 2 rows, point by point. Next time I do decrease. I'll do it like this, Until I get to the end of the sleeve, I will decrease until I get there, not start making the fist. Then I weave high stitch upon high stitch until I get there. In the end, I will weave the whole career here until I reach the end. When I get here, I'll come back to make the decrease. It's right here with you. I've been weaving my entire career and it's missing to get here in the end. So I'm going to make the decrease. I make a high point, but I don't finish. I stop here. I'm going to make the next stop here. I keep the 3 loops now. Yes, I take everything off at once. I made another decrease. I close here in the 3rd chain. I make my 3 here to start, which is equivalent to a high point. It's work. And here text point on point. What it doesn't have is a decrease. I'm gonna weave my whole career stitch by stitch until I get there at the end. When I get to the end, I'll come back. I came to the end of my career knitting high stitch upon high stitch. I close there on the third chain. I make my 3 chains, which are equivalent to a high point. I'll turn the work over here and I'll weave. You always look here. What did you do? Oh, I downsized. I make a career point by point, here also point by point, without diminishing. I'm gonna weave this whole career high point upon high point until I get there at the end. When I get to the end, I come back to do one more, and then you don't need it anymore. I think it will be very repetitive because it is very simple to make the mango. Then I'll weave the whole career and be right back. I've been through my whole career. I got here at the end. I'm going to close on the third chain. Make 3 chains that equals the high point. Turn the work over. And here, as I did, decrease 2 rows, point over point. Now I'm going to make a decrease, make a high point, and don't finish. I go to the next one, I make a high point, and I don't finish. I take it all at once and do the rest of my career point by point. Until you get here at the end. In the end, you have to always remember that when you do the decrease here, you have to do it here, otherwise it will be crooked, blouse. So never forget, if it starts with a decrease, it ends with a decrease. I'll weave the entire career point by point and back here. I went through the career doing point after point and arrived here missing to finish here. I'll do the decrease again. So I do it, I give the loop, I'm gonna do the high point, I do it and I don't finish it. I'm gonna do the next one, I do, and I don't finish. Now, yes, I take it all at once and close my career here with a very low point. I make the 3 chains, turn work, and I'm gonna weave high stitch. Over high point, no diminution at all for 2 rows, then the next. I do the decrease at the beginning and at the end. So I'm not going to record video anymore because it got too repetitive. It's pretty simple to make the mango is. So here, it's a matter of taste. You can do like I'm doing every 2 careers, full stop. On the high point I make a decrease, I'll show the other one here. So let me just pull it here so it's very clear to show how I did it. So if you have a little doubt, go back to the video a little bit, see how I taught there, and let's see here if we can show it very well here. Look how the decrease was very smooth doing it this way. I started with a career of decrease 2, normal. One has decreased 2 normal, one has decreased 2 normal, until I got where I needed. I'll show you here closely. I started decrease 2 normal, decrease 2 normal, decrease 2 normal, and I went until I got here. Here I still had decrease, decrease 2 normal, then I started the bar, I did it. Let's count how many careers you've had here. Starting here was, I had to fix it, which is now all twisted. Now it's right here that I started the manga here, that I started 1. 23, 45, 67, 89, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30 careers I was weaving is weaving like this. One with 2 normal decrease, one with 2 normal decrease, until I reached the size and see that it was good. So, Amanda is a matter of taste, as I said. And you go doing and go wearing to see if it is according to what you are, if you like it or not. If you have already knitted some and thought it is already good, then stop decreasing. Do just stitch on stitch until you reach the size you need, and then just make the bar. How is it done there at the end of the coat, there under the coat, when it reached the length? But yeah, I'm going back and I'm going to make the bar together. No problem, so it's pretty clear how you make the mango. So I'm going to weave the other one until I get here at this length. Then I come back to make the bar together to explain how I made the bar. I came back here that I knitted the sleeve the size I needed, the one here doing the same scheme. Decreasing, I started by decreasing 2 normal careers, and a decrease is 2 normal careers and a decrease. I did it for 30 careers, which was the size I needed. So she gave it to me here, under the arm, where I tied it up. In the first career I started, the sleeve up to here were 42 centimeters long. That was my sleeve. Now I'm going to make about 5 centimeters of fist, and I'm going to do the same thing I did there on the body of the jacket, on the part of the bar. So I'm going to start now the bar one by one, which is the same one. So I left the wire here, and wait, I didn't cut it. I finished my career here. I'm going to make the 3 little chains that equals me to a high point. I'm going to turn the work over and I'm going to weave an embossed high stitch. One from the front and one from the back. So it's the same from the length. It has no secret. A relief taken from the front and a relief taken from the back. I'll weave my whole career until I get to the end. When I get there at the end of my career, I return to start the next career. I'm weaving like this until I get here. I reached the end of my career and closed with a very low point in the 3rd chain. I'm going to make 3 little chains that equate to a high point. I'm going to turn my work around and keep knitting. Here it was high point, it's in relief, caught from the front, pass relief, caught from the front. And what's behind it? They do it, I take it from behind. I'm going to weave my entire career and I'm going to do this process here. I'm weaving like this until I get here. I close on the 3rd chain is, I make 3 chains to go up, turn the work and continue weaving in this way. So you weave there for as many careers as you think is necessary. It could be me. I think I woven about 5. Let me count here in the other I did. 12, 3, 4, 5 careers, and if for 5 careers I will go down here, the rest that is missing, then I return. When I'm ready, I'm already on Monday, so I'll miss this one, finish this one, and 3 more careers. As soon as I'm done, I'll be back. I finished here the 5 rows, and I'm going to cut the wire. There may be a little more loop here, I'll be right there. Then after I cut the thread, I give you that loop to learn, and I'm going to teach you how to finish these threads here that you have left over on your coat. You're going to turn it over, you're going to turn it over, and you're going to look at all the wires you have left over, and you're going to hide it. How am I going to do that? I'll bring it inside out. Oh, then. I'm just going to open it up like this, and I'm going to bring it in. Here is, I'm going to take a crochet needle with my own crochet needle. I took a thinner one here. The 2.5 can be even thicker if you want. It's a little thinner that you're working on. It helps. It gets easier. You're going to take some loops here. Oh, from the inside. And you're going to loop this thread, and you're going to bring it here. If you don't want to do it with crochet needle, you can use upholstery needle, which is that sewing needle. It's for sewing wool, okay? You can too. So I'm going to go over here, in some straps of the stitches. I'm going to walk with this wire. Just be careful not to go there to the other side and you go through. Here you bring it down, you can go from side to side. You walk with this wire until you finish it or until you think it was necessary. Sometimes you cut too big, so it's gone a bit. You can cut, then you finish, hide it well, you'll do it in ease. For all yours is for all the threads that are left over in the coat. You will do the same thing, always taking it to the inside by some straps of the stitch you go through, and it becomes almost imperceptible here inside. Neither did I. So I came here, brought it here, came here and brought it here. And oh, on the outside it was well finished inside. I can hardly see any wire here. Then I can cut or pass a little more. I'm going to go down with him a little bit more here, and I'm going to cut because I think I've been through enough. Now I can cut the wire, then I cut it really close, just be careful. So you don't cut the stitch when you cut it very close. Oh, then it's very finished. So this sleeve is already finished. I'm going to do this same process on the other one, and where I have these ends left over, I'll do this finish. Now, I'll do it. The only thing missing is the finish. The finish here is from the side of it. So what am I going to do? I'm going to start down here at the bottom. Well, here. Oh, so I'm going to turn the coat over now this way. So to make it easier for me, I'm going to take this part here where I finished and I'm going to tie the string. I'm going to insert the eye right here, right at the tip, then I'm going to tie it. And right here, in the same place, I insert needle, pull and make 3 chains that are equivalent to a high point. This is where I will start my work. I'm going for, I've got here, oh, now. The side of the stitches. Oh, the stitches are lying down. I'm going to do high here. Oh, for lying stitch. So I've already made one. I'm going to try to bring these 2 threads here. Oh, here. And I'm going to finish them. I'm going to make them here. Oh, bring them here. Oh, from the tip and the one I tied. So here I'm going to make a high stitch. Here in the next career, I also do the high point. it's setting a high point. If it fits 2 or 1, you will see which is better. That's it. I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to put one here between one row and another, and one here at the high point, lying down. And I'm bringing this interesting little tip of the thread here to finish. Oh, between one career choice and another in the career path. Oh, between one career opportunity and another. I can go here too easily. You will distribute all the high points effectively. Until you eventually get there, carefully skirt your entire coat. You'll be able to see what you believe looks just right. If by 2, if by 1, we can't spend a lot so that we don't end up stuck, we have a point remaining. You must put the amount you consider appropriate there. So the video doesn't get too long. I'm going to go around the whole jacket, okay? I started here at the bottom. I'm going to go all the way up the side doing high stitches here. Oh, I'm going here at the V neckline. I'm going up here. So when I get up here, I'll come back to show you how I'm going to do it here on the shoulders and back. And then I'll explain the next pairs. Then I will. I'm going to go all over the side, including the neckline. Here. Oh, see you soon. Get up here. When I get up here, I will return. I went all the way down the side of the jacket and came up here. Here I'm cold. It's from the beginning of the work, at the beginning of the string of chains, so I did it here. Oh, when we started with altos, I put it here first. Now I'm going to go up and I'm going to do it up here. Oh, 1 point for every point I have here. So I'm going to bring this thread here so I can finish it off. So here, oh, I'm going to make a high point, oh, at this point here, and I'm going to do here, oh, each on these chains where the work started, oh, on the strap, on the other strap of the chain. I know the work is big now, it's difficult to show, but here, oh, on. In these straps here, I'm going to insert the needle. Let me put the thread in here to finish it off. Just arrange it here, and I'm going to have a high point for each point I have here. On the back, oh, and on the shoulder too. Where is this point top here? I'll make a point here. I'm going down like this. Oh, this way. It's going to stay until I get down there in my coat. I'm going to go all the way over there, right? I'm going down there on his side until I get there at the bar. So I'm going to make a low point here for each point. Then when I get to the side, I do it the same way I did here, putting 1 or 2 depending on the space until I get down there on the bar. When I get there at the bar, I return to what I'm going to show. How am I going to do it? It's the next career. So I got here on the other side of the coat, on the other side. So what am I going to do? I'm going to make 3 little chains that will equal me a high point. And I'm going to turn the job around. Let me just turn him all over here. So I turned around, and now I'm going to do the bar stitch here as well. So this first one here is the point of the 3 little chains. which equals what is an edge point. Then I go to the next one, I make it in relief, I take it from the front, I'm going to make the same type of bar that I made on the cuff and under the coat. And I'm going to do it like this, 1.1 embossed on the front, 1 on the back, 1 on the front, 1 on the back. And I will do it until I get there. On the other side, stitch on stitch, I'm going to go along the entire side of the jacket at the top, there from the shoulder and back, and on the other side until I get to the other bar, there on the other side, and I will. So let's move on. And one back. Look how it's getting. It's like that here. I'll walk my entire career until I get to the other side, and I'll be right back. So when I get there on the other side, there at the bar, I go back to go through the next steps. I'm almost here at the end. I'm missing. So I did this one forward, this one backward, and the last one here I did the chains to start. Then I'm going to do a high point on the third chain, so I finish this career, and I'm going to do another one. I'm going to make 3 little chains that equals 1 high point. And I'm going to turn my job. So I'm going to turn my job here. So here it is in front. I do it. I take it from the front. Here it is in relief. I take it from behind. I do it. I take it from behind. And I follow the rest of my career until I get there. At the end again, I'm going to go all the way down the side of the jacket until I get to the other end. I'm just going to do more of this career, and for me, it's enough. If you want to make more careers, you can. How many careers do you think are good for your job? You can stop this one here. You can do one more. I'll just do this one, I'll stop. So I'm going to weave my whole career here. When I get there, at the end I will return and the coat will be finished. Then, let's just do those yarn finishes, huh? And everything will be ready. I finished my career now, it's just that up to the wire. So if you want to make it bigger, you can make more careers. Do as many rows as you think is necessary for the size. Here I'll give you a little boy and the coat is ready. Now just do the finishing of these threads here as I taught you before. So now just put it here on the inside outside and walk with this thread here and the coat is ready. That the coat is finished. Is it all finished? Yeah, so I spent about 450 yen to make this coat here. So I hope you enjoyed the video lesson. If you like it, leave your like, subscribe to the channel. If you are not already subscribed, and don't forget to activate the notifications, that is, click on that bell that you have next to subscribe. So YouTube always notifies you when I post a new video here on the channel and you don't miss anything until the next video lesson.